Hey Albuquerque, this is Lindsay.
This is Lorenzo.
And this is What's Up ABQ. What's up Albuquerque, this is Lindsay.
This is Lorenzo.
So today we have a very special episode because, as you guys know, Ryan is no longer with us, RIP. For those of you that don't know, he's not dead. He just moved to Missouri.
He's dead to us.
He's dead to us, though. No, he moved to Missouri. He is living out that millennial dream of buying a mansion, like cheap old houses, and fixing it up to make it his dream home. So we're excited for him, although we're sad for Albuquerque because, you know, Missouri's gain is our loss, I guess. So anyway, but this episode is kind of special. I wanted to introduce our new co-host, and I guess I'll just let you introduce yourself because you're the co-host now. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Lorenzo. I am Lindsay's husband and fan of the podcast, and now I'm here. So I don't know. What else do you want to know?
I mean, I know a lot about you. Obviously, we've been married for like 13 years, but
a little bit more than exactly 13 years.
That's right. And for those of you that don't know, actually, Lorenzo and I have a podcast project that we started a long time ago called Parenting versus Podcast. And so we started this podcast at the beginning of our journey as parents, and we kind of talk about everything parenting. So we've worked together in that regard, but like this is a whole new wheelhouse for both of us, I guess, right?
Yeah. And I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you for asking me.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to have you. We used to refer to Lorenzo as like our in-house New Mexican.
Yeah.
Because you are, in fact, a native New Mexican. So.
I'm in a house right now, and I am a New Mexican. So check the boxes.
Check. So I guess with that, I think for the audience, for people that don't know you, obviously I do, so it's kind of weird having a conversation for the two of us. But for people that don't know you, tell the What's Up ABQ audience a little bit about where you grew up, how you grew up, your history as a New Mexican, if you would.
Yeah. So for better or for worse, I am as New Mexican as they come. I am from the state capital of Santa Fe, New Mexico. I was born there. St. Vincent Hospital, or as the locals call it, St. Victims. But I'm sure the doctors are pretty good there. I mean, I came out fine. I was delivered there. Yeah, so I grew up in Santa Fe. My grandpa was a mariachi, and you learn. So New Mexicans are kind of funny because we know how to say all the Spanish words, but we know a total of probably like a dozen Spanish words. I don't know Spanish. Sadly, my name's Lorenzo Delfido Dominguez. I know very little Spanish, so I am in that way very New Mexican. Have a Spanish name, don't speak very much Spanish. I know how to say the Spanish words I do know correctly, but I don't know, I'm going on a tangent. Sorry. Yeah, so my grandpa was a mariachi, grew up in Santa Fe, close to the Guadalupe Church. And then my parents decided to move us to the East Mountains. I say East Mountains because it sounds better than Moriarty. Sorry.
Not a fan of the Pintos, are you?
Sorry to all the Moriarty peeps, but I did my time. Anyways, now I'm here in Albuquerque. I went to the University of New Mexico. I was a Lobo.
Is everyone a Lobo? Is it true what they say?
It is true, 100%. Everyone's a Lobo. Even the Aggies are Lobos, whether they would like to admit it or not.
That was a sick diss on the first episode.
That's okay. My brother's an Aggie. So.
You made some enemies just now.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, you know, if the Aggies are playing somebody on national television, I will root for those Aggies. But yeah, I am very New Mexican. I love New Mexican food. Sopapillas with honey, red chili. I think stuffed sopapillas are my favorite food, even though it's a good, you know, healthy 2,300 calories. Well worth it.
Where do you, so I know that we're jumping the gun, but like your best stuffed sopapilla, where would you go?
I guess Tomasitas.
Yeah.
Here in Albuquerque. I don't really get out that often. I mean, I do. We do, but like we don't really go check out a ton. Like that's not like on our to-do list is check out all the New Mexican places in Albuquerque, because I feel like if you're going to get New Mexican food in New Mexico, it has to be in some small town. Like you got to go to Cuba, you got to go to Pecos, you got to go to Española. Those are the places that I think that a restaurant in Albuquerque is not going to live up to, but maybe we'll find it.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't feel like I have any room to speak on that because I'm obviously not from here originally. So the only thing I have to compare it to is Albuquerque, New Mexican food. Yeah. You, however, I feel like you have a little bit of, I don't want to say chili snobbery, but maybe you are a little bit more selective with your chili.
I think I am. I think I have a very sentimental view of chili. I grew up, like chili was just part of my life growing up. My grandpa, the mariachi that I just spoke of, he ate chili like every single day. It was just part of his meal, and very, very basic sort of preparation. Like he would get red chili, the pods, and blend them in a blender, throw some garlic seasoning, some salt, and then he would heat it up in some like fried pork, or like he would fry it up in a little tiny pot. I remember this pot as a kid. And then he would kind of, and you would think tortilla would be like first on your mind, but he used white bread for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Either way, like it was part of my life growing up. So I have this idea of what red chili should look like. When I go to a restaurant and it's not the right color and it has this weird consistency and it has no spice to it, it kind of makes me sad a little bit. So
you just made me think of Nacho Libre when he was like, where are the spices?
Where are the spices? Yeah. No, so yeah, I love red chili. I love green chili. It has to have spice, has to have flavor. I hope I'm not snobbery about it, but
no, I think that's the beauty of like New Mexican culture, is that everybody has like a favorite way to have their chili, and it can deviate a little from like, you know, the norm, or it has its own little twist on it, or it's like, oh, the reason I like the chili from this place is because it's, everybody kind of throws their own personalization in there, I think, when they're making it. And so that's what makes it unique. And that's what makes it really cool, is that like, I like to hear about, you know, different people's opinions and perspectives on New Mexican food, because generally New Mexican food is very consistent in how you make it, but there's always these little things that people do differently depending on where you're at that kind of make it your favorite, or, you know, somebody else's favorite or whatever. So it's kind of cool to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's 100% true. I had a friend in, I think I was in middle school. His mom made enchiladas and they were really good. And my mom's enchiladas are delicious, I think. Like my idea was like, oh, my mom's enchiladas are the best. But then my friend...
I think everybody thinks their mom's enchiladas are the best.
Yeah. My friend, whose name was Carlos, his mom made them, but she added black olives to it, which I thought was interesting, but I thought it was a good touch. I don't know.
I would not think about that. Interesting. Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned like different like personal touches, because like I remember when we lived in Santa Fe when we were first married for a while, we would go out to eat there and we'd get red chili and people would put honey on top of it. And I used to think like that's so weird, but then when I tried it, I was like, I absolutely understand this now.
It's the sweet and spicy and smoky kind of
sweet in the heat.
Sweet in the heat. Yeah. No, it's good.
It's good stuff. So, Lorenzo, for people that don't know you, which is pretty much everybody but me right now.
I have said at least 5 or 6 words on a couple of episodes, I think, because I've tagged along. I tagged along on the hot dog episode, the clown dog episode. I tagged along on the tea episode.
Yeah, tea house.
A couple other ones.
You were with us in Santa Fe when we were on Artists with Brian.
Artists with Brian.
Which was a great episode. That was so fun.
Yeah. What else? I think that's it.
I mean,
yeah. So I mean,
been around
sometimes even though I'm there just as a spectator, I have said, I think, a total of maybe 7 or 8 words.
Well, it's your chance to say a lot more now. So you obviously know the background and the history of What's Up ABQ. So what are some businesses or some places or some things that you want to see us interview in the future? Because we haven't really, you and I haven't really talked about this yet as like a unit as far as like your ideas. So I want to hear like on air for the record, like what do you want to do? Who do you want to interview?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like some of the big ones I think would be really cool. Like the Frontier. That would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Or Golden Pride. The Frontier though, that's part of like central to the university area. A lot of people in Albuquerque, like say, if they ask anybody's local, say, hey, where should we go? Well, I'll go to Frontier for the novelty. Like it's Route 66 kind of thing. I think Frontier would be cool. I don't know why I thought about this, but I don't know, is Skate City still around? Skate City would be a cool.
Roller King is, I think.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about these old sort of
nostalgic places.
Yeah. Places that have been around for a long time. I think the Beach Zone is not there anymore, but I used to skate a lot when I was in high school. So these businesses that have been local for, before local was cool. Pizza Castle, I think would be cool.
I would love to hear other people's opinions on that. Like, who do you want to hear us interview? Because we usually go out and talk to people on our own, but I would love to hear some community input on that. Like, is there a business or a local place where you're like, yeah, I want to hear what they have to say, or I'm curious about that, or I want to know what's going on in that area? Because there's so many different niches and pockets and places to explore in Albuquerque, and it just the net keeps getting wider. So, I mean, we're not going to stop anytime soon. There's a lot to see and a lot to do, and I definitely don't want to limit it at all. So I'm excited to hear kind of like with the new spin on What's Up ABQ, kind of where we're going to end up too.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I wanted to ask you too, what are your thoughts on the local movements of different artists and different crafts people kind of and markets and breweries and all that stuff? Like, what is your opinion on all that? Because I know that it started out sort of slow and it's sort of taking off now. And we're seeing a lot more people move here from other places. So I kind of wanted to hear about your thoughts on that.
I don't know. I'm not sure if my attention has been focused on what that is. Cause like, just kind of like how I've always eaten chili and it's always just been part of life. I think New Mexican art has always just been part of life. And if you've never gone anywhere else, you kind of just assume that is part of, that's our cat.
Yeah.
You just kind of, you accept it as part of your existence, I guess. So I'm flattered that a lot of people appreciate the art here. And now that I'm older, I understand how special, like the fusion of all these different cultures. So this is kind of interesting. I play, so nerd alert, I played Dungeons and Dragons with some friends on Zoom. And a couple of them, well, all of them except for one is from New York. They're from New York. And this one guy who, shout out Danny, who,
hey, Danny,
who he's the dungeon master. Anyways.
Okay, whoa.
Okay. Sorry. I won't go too far into the Dungeons and Dragons.
For me. All right.
Yeah. But anyways, he was telling me as an outsider how much he appreciated that these cultures kind of lived side by side. Like they existed all on their own without it being a fusion. They just sort of were there. I don't know. He explained it like in a very appreciative way, I guess, but I don't know where I'm going with that. Sorry.
No, I think that's a really good illustration of New Mexican culture because it is true. Like coming from other places, you may not see a good example of that like you do in New Mexico. I mean, you have like indigenous culture, you have Hispanic and Latino culture, you have white culture. I mean, you just have all of these different things kind of living in this cohesive environment, doing their own things in their own communities, but also doing it side by side. And then you get a little bit of, they kind of bleed into each other a little bit around the corners. And so you get all these really interesting mixes of art and music and food and, everything else.
And I think food is one of those things that sort of encapsulates everything. And it is kind of like a fusion, I guess you could say. Like you have a mixture of all these different cultures, and the New Mexican food that's kind of illustrates that for us, I guess. I
feel like New Mexican food is an expression of like cultural love, sort of. Like that sounds really cheesy, but I feel like that's how New Mexicans express love is like through their food.
Yeah.
Because you have, like you said, you have all these different cultures coming together and sharing pieces or staples of their food and their diet. And then it comes together to make this amazing thing. Like, like you have like an Indian taco with like green chili on top. And like, you have just all these different things that are like put together that make this really amazing, awesome.
Yeah. Well, one example too, that is kind of funny that a lot of people who come here might sort of be surprised about, like for Thanksgiving, I think maybe you were surprised about this, but for Thanksgiving, instead of gravy for our mashed potatoes, we put red chili on it. And that's always just been part of my life. But if you think about that, like that's a very much not a New Mexican meal, turkey with green beans and mashed potatoes and, stuffing, all sorts of stuff and green.
It's white people food. If we're being real, it's like, gravy.
And red chili. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember the first Thanksgiving that I spent with your family after we got married. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast. Maybe I have. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. But like I went to Thanksgiving and I remember just being like, the chili was so hot. And it was on everything. And I just remember being really hungry, actually. Because I couldn't, like, I just wasn't, like, my chili appreciation level was not up to snuff. Yeah. At that point, I couldn't handle the heat. And so it was like, for like the first like year or two, like before like family functions at your house, I would eat like before because I just wasn't sure if I was going to be able to handle the chili.
No, that's fine.
Which is embarrassing to say, but like,
No, that's fair. I mean, every time when I was first married, when we first got married, I had dinner, we were having dinners at your parents' house. Like I'm always looking for the chili in their fridge and it's always like not there. So
they're like, we have some salsa. It's like paste pecani sauce. Do you want some?
I think finally your mom might have bought some hot sauce at one point.
But that's the two cultures of like you and I like bleeding together to kind of just figure it out.
Yeah.
Like
I always have to add spice to my food. And sometimes like, I don't know.
And it's funny as we talk about Thanksgiving and now I'm like really hungry, but like, it's funny because now when I make cranberry sauce every year for turkey, I make it with red chili. Yeah. Like I make red chili cranberry sauce, and I've made green chili too, but I think red chili and cranberry goes better.
Back to that sweet and tart and spicy. Yeah. No, I think it's good.
So we have our own that's like our own little fusion of like our marriage, and then we've married our sauces.
Yeah.
Please don't put that on a bumper sticker.
We've married our sauces.
And this podcast just went way weird.
Registered trademark.
Right. But yeah, so New Mexico is definitely a part of you, and it's become a part of me also. And so it's only fitting that you are a co-host with me. I think it's really exciting that we're doing this together.
I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of be out there because I think I've gotten a little bit lazy with like discovery mode, Albuquerque. You know, I want to know more about the city. I want to know more about, you know, what's out there. I want to know who the people are behind, you know, what's going on, because I just do.
So I kind of wanted to touch on a few things too. Your dad is a land surveyor. And so you've seen like every inch of New Mexico, more or less, like
north of, I would say, Los Lunas.
Yeah. So you're pretty familiar with like geographic New Mexico. Yeah. What are some of your favorite places to see and visit? And if somebody was new here or they hadn't gone somewhere and they were like looking for an outing, where would you send them?
Well, I would say right now, don't go anywhere because we have fire danger.
Nowhere with fire.
So some of the most beautiful places in the state. I love our state parks. Villanueva State Park is a great place. I like going to Villanueva State Park from the I-40 route, like from Albuquerque, because you can get to Villanueva State Park from I-25 and you can get it through from I-40. We've never been there, I don't think. But like you said, my dad's a land surveyor. We did a survey out there, because sometimes I'll help him out with his work. But we went out there, and it's just a very small, like tight-knit community. And then the road that takes you out there is like this really narrow road that's hugging the side of a cliff. And if I remember correctly, there's like not even a guardrail on it. And this, it gets like a really huge drop. Oh, I don't know. It's a really cool experience, like driving these little back New Mexico roads. But yeah, Villanueva State Park has, you know, it's shaded, it's trees, it's the Pecos River just kind of flowing through this state park. It's really pretty. So that's one space I like. I love the Enchanted Circle, like the Southern Rocky Mountains. Some of my favorite places to go: Angel Fire, Red River, Taos. What's that town on the way up to Taos Ski Valley?
Arroyo Seco.
Arroyo Seco, really beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then a little bit off the beaten path, I would say, is like the Pecos Wilderness. You have Bull Creek and Cow Creek, and it's like, if you were to take somebody from outside of the state and just sort of transport them into this area, they would have no idea it's New Mexico. It's like lush, green. I mean, I don't know about now with the dryness, but tall trees everywhere, just beautiful. I love the Pecos Wilderness.
Yeah. It's always fun to hear like your perspective on different places. When we go somewhere, you'll be like, oh, did you know that over here there's this crazy, like whatever. You always know like the little sidetrack, like adventure sites and like roadside things that I like normally wouldn't know about. And then it's fun because sometimes I think something that Lorenzo and I both enjoy is like random road trips and driving and like not necessarily having a destination, but like seeing where the road takes us, like where we end up. Yeah. One time we did this and we ended up at Charette Lake. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We found this like random lake that we didn't even know existed. It was super weird, but super cool. Yeah. There was nobody there. We saw this giant herd of like...
pronghorn?
Yeah, pronghorn. And it was crazy because the lake was like a little bit low and we could see this old like truck from the 1940s like sticking out of it and like this old structure. It was just like otherworldly almost.
It was sort of a scary appreciation, if I want to say that, because we were literally out in the middle of like nowhere. Like we were, I want to say 30 to 45 minutes away from I-25. Yeah. And this road led to nowhere. There might have been like one or two houses, like it was very remote. And if you were to break a leg and like not be able to, like that's what I was thinking about. Like if I were to break a leg, like
who would find me? Yeah. Like how would I even get out of here?
Even though like my family's here, I don't know. It's one of those things I guess like New Mexico can provide, is that remoteness. Like there's so much just empty land. Like, I don't know.
But there's still, I think the thing about New Mexico too, and it would not be an episode of What's Up ABQ without the air conditioning coming on. Hopefully.
Well, it's hot now.
Yeah, it is really hot today. Hopefully we can edit some of that out because it is loud. It would not be like New Mexico without the like remote expansion of space and like having that uncharted territory to explore still. I think what people like and appreciate about New Mexico is that there's so much to like go and discover, and you can go somewhere and be totally alone. Yeah. And there's not many places in the world where you can go and find space where you can be just completely alone anymore. Yeah.
And if you're tired of the street racing on Montgomery and Coors, like just drive out into the desert and enjoy that silence.
Yeah, there's some solitude here that I think can't be found a lot of other places, which is appreciated.
It's interesting though, because it's not silence though. Like it'll be silence for a second, but then you start to hear the wind and you hear like, I don't know, the cicadas or whatever. Like there's sounds that I think if you're a city person, you can appreciate when you go out there.
I did want to put you on the spot. If anybody needs a guide to Santa Fe, Lorenzo is definitely your guy.
I don't know.
Yes. I'm just saying, no, like you grew up there and it's crazy because every time we go to Santa Fe, even though you grew up there, I learned something new about Santa Fe that I never knew.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, to you, it seems like it's just common knowledge because you grew up there. But like, if somebody's not from that area or they don't know, they wouldn't have that information.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you what like the best sushi spot is in Santa Fe, but I could tell you a little bit of history about like the park across the street from the Guadalupe Church, because I used to go there when I was a kid.
He used to call it the cheese park.
Because there was big, giant structures of cheese, and like there was...
What politician funded that project, by the way?
I don't know.
We're in Santa Fe. We should have a giant structure of cheese in this park.
Dude, me and my brothers and my cousins and everybody else going to the cheese park, we loved it.
Yeah.
Like climbing these cheese structures. There was no playground. There was no slides. There was no swings. It was just these like sculptures of cheese. And they might not have
And they had wine tastings every Sunday. I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe now, but no, like they might not have even been intended for like kids to climb, but we climbed them and like we had fun. And then there was a fountain there that I don't know, for whatever reason we would get into it. Like
it's because it's watering your kids.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
So anyways.
Okay, Santa Fe, if you're listening, if any of you are listening and any of you have that authority, please just build a splash pad. Yeah. Like somewhere kind of close to the plaza. Like, you know, it gets hot up there. Summertime's coming. We'd appreciate it.
Cheese.
Bring back the cheese.
Yeah, they took the cheese away.
Please stop quit moving our cheese.
Good one.
Is that a dad joke? I think it was.
Yeah,
you guys,
a mom joke.
Have you ever heard about those, that book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah, I got that for my graduation gift from somebody too.
My graduation from high school. And I remember being like, this is dumb. And I like donated it, but now I feel like I probably should have read it.
Probably all of like 75 pages. Maybe you should have.
It's probably like the key to life and we just missed it.
Your life would have been way different if you would have read that book.
If I would have just found out who moved the cheese, I would know so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. I love your Santa Fe history. I love that you know so much. I love that you can be like, oh yeah, you know what? This used to be this. Or you just have this like innate knowledge of New Mexico. And I don't know that it's appreciated enough. And I don't think that you really realize that you have it. But it's there and I like it.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Every day, you count on your heating and cooling system to be ready to handle the extreme temperatures. Call FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical right away if your heating or cooling system is malfunctioning. FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical has been fixing and installing HVAC systems throughout the Albuquerque metro and surrounding areas for years. They've been the leading provider of comprehensive care and top-class HVAC service and installation since the early 2000s. When you choose FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical, you'll get contractors with a history of excellence. Call today, mention What's Up ABQ, and receive 10% off for the month of May on repairs and installation. Call FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical at 505-203-6415 or visit their website, framechanical.com. If you want a new job, Goodwill has a free service to help you find it. Need to learn interview skills or create a resume? We offer free training too. And we have a huge network of employer partners across New Mexico, local companies that are hiring right now. Ready for a new job? Don't hesitate. A perfect job is waiting for you. And help to find it is free. Goodwill it.
And we're back.
Hey.
And today I am introducing my new co-host, and you are...
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo what?
Dominguez.
He's my husband, actually.
Actually.
This guy right here. It is really weird going from the dynamic of like talking to my brother on these podcasts, and now I'm talking to you. It's kind of funny. And it's weird because we haven't done like our interviews yet together. So.
And we have our podcasting dynamic already from our other podcast, which don't listen to it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't think it's terrible. It's just...
All right. So it's like, I'm going to plug it. So it's called Parenting versus Podcast. And like, it's loosely a parenting podcast, but not really. And we have terrible parenting advice. And like, don't take it seriously.
Not only that, but like, okay, maybe I shouldn't even say this. I guess I have to say it.
I dare you.
I think sometimes I might overshare my sort of feelings, not even about parenting, but just like life. Like we kind of lay it all out
Yeah,
on the line.
it's bare. It's definitely bare bones. But I think that was like kind of the idea when we started.
Yeah.
It was like, we're not going to edit this because life is not edited, and like it is what it is. And we didn't even think anybody was listening. Apparently they are, which is funny to me. Mm-hmm. And if you are, please just don't.
Don't tell us that you listen to it. It'll make me feel better.
It'll make us feel real weird around you.
No, that's okay. You could tell us.
We had somebody the other day that like tweeted something about it, and we were like, wait, what? Our podcast? Like, who is this person? It was like a complete stranger, and we were like, oh man, someone's listening.
Yeah. How did you find us?
I know. Who told you about this? So it's just kind of funny because that's the dynamic that we're used to working with. But
I got to kind of reel it back a little bit.
Yeah. This is a professional podcast.
No crying?
No crying.
Okay, no
Not
crying.
on this one. You cry and I get a new co-host. That's how that goes.
Okay.
I'll be like, now taking applications.
Yeah.
Send me your demos, please. Because Lorenzo needs to stop crying. So I did want to take it kind of in a serious direction. Mm-hmm. Sort of. Well, I guess 2 directions.
Okay.
I'll start with the non-serious one first.
All right.
What are your favorite neighborhoods in Albuquerque? Do you have a favorite neighborhood or area?
In Albuquerque?
Yeah.
I have a few favorite neighborhoods. So
hold on, I got to back up. Mm-hmm. Lorenzo delivered pizzas for like 9 years, so
did.
He knows a lot about
Zuni
Albuquerque
in Washington.
neighborhoods.
266-6666.
Wow.
That's their phone number.
Okay. You guys need a pizza.
Shout out Pizza Hut.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Unless you guys want a sponsor. No, I delivered there for a long time. They put me through college. I got a front and center view of Nob Hill, Ridgecrest, and then also sort of east of San Pedro, between San Mateo and San Pedro to Gibson. Like that was my zone. And then I think north up to like the university. So I know that area really well. I know the streets really well. I never actually lived. Well, no, I did. I did live in the university area once. But
didn't we all?
Yeah. But as far as my favorite neighborhoods, I've always been rooting for downtown Albuquerque. Downtown Albuquerque, I think, saw its heyday a long time ago, and it's waiting for its return. I don't think it's here yet. It hasn't been here. Downtown has not been like the center of the city in a really long time. But I want to see downtown thrive. I want to see maybe another skyscraper. I want to see people go there, not just for like the nightlife, but like because, that really awesome, I don't know, donut shop is there, or
there is a really awesome donut shop there.
In downtown?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but I follow their Instagram and it looks.
I want to see downtown Albuquerque sort of thrive commercially and like, you know what I mean? Like you go to these other cities.
You want it to be a bustling city.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the place where.
Not just where people go to get hammered on the weekends and then abandon like Sunday afternoon.
The place where everybody wants to go just to hang out. You know what I mean? Maybe there'll be some nice parks, some grass or whatever, you know.
Splash pad, cheese park, downtown.
Yeah. So, and not just because there's some event going on downtown. Like I want it to be a magnet. So I've always been rooting for downtown as far as like those attractions.
Yeah.
I think south of downtown, Bareilles is a really special place. The Hispanic Cultural Center is a fantastic place to go to kind of see art from the local community. Bareilles Coffee Shop is awesome. A coffee house, yeah. And their prices are amazing too.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way.
Obama ate there, guys.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Obama, it's good enough for you.
Yeah. 100%. Of course, Nob Hill, I've always liked Nob Hill. That I feel like has been a place where people can kind of walk and stroll and kind of have that. It's not centered, even though it's on Route 66, it's not centered around driving. Albuquerque is a very driving town. You have your Montgomery Boulevards, you have your Wyomings, you have your San Mateos. And Central in Nob Hill is not that. Central in Nob Hill is a place where you can kind of walk from a shop to a shop. So I love Nob Hill. North Valley. Beautiful. South Valley is beautiful. Yeah, those are some of my neighborhoods I like.
Yeah, and you've lived in all of those neighborhoods, I think, at one point or another, or close to them. So
I was going to say I didn't live in the South Valley, but I did.
You did. You had this huge cottonwood tree in your yard. Remember, it was like at least a couple hundred years old.
I was so proud of it too. Like even though it wasn't mine, like I was renting the place, but I think when I first met you, I'm like, hey, check out this tree.
I was impressed. I mean, I'm still here.
This tree is so cool.
So much history in that tree. I'm very impressed by that tree.
Yeah.
So thanks for showing me that.
Yeah.
I definitely like to hear people's favorite neighborhoods. I feel like it gives me kind of an idea of like their personality and like kind of just what they enjoy about the city. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to kind of talk about, and I know that we sort of touch on this a little in the podcast, depending on if it comes up, but what are some of the issues and things that you want to see change in Albuquerque or be different in the future?
I think Albuquerque definitely has its lists of problems, and sometimes it might feel discouraging to the people that live here that these problems aren't really being addressed and they're kind of maybe even getting worse. Obviously, like crime, people talk about crime, people talk about traffic and drivers and everything else. Living here, raising my kids, our kids.
I have kids?
Yes. I forgot to tell you about them.
I know I have kids, guys. I'm a good mom. Nobody call anybody else. Don't call CYFD. I swear to God, I'm a good mom.
Yeah. No, you are.
Thank you. Mother's Day is coming next week. Let me know.
Yeah. So I would love to see our city begin to address a lot of those issues, I guess you could say. I don't love hearing about different things going on in the city. I don't love hearing about, traffic things. I don't love hearing about like
3 major homicides in one night.
Yeah.
Which is what was on the news today.
Or APS is going through this and like whatever, you know what I mean? So those are the things that matter to me. And I would love to see Albuquerque kind of like rise above that, It's a big task. It's a big dream. I think that if there's enough people who kind of understand that it's a problem that can be surpassed, I guess you could say, then we can kind of give each other encouragement. I don't know. Cause I think Albuquerque folks, Buqueños, Albuquerqueans can get discouraged because it's sort of like, well, it's just the way it is. And what am I going to do? It's like crime's bad. What can I do? Well, I can protect myself. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the reason we started this podcast. Ryan and I is like, we wanted to talk about, positive things because we are all used to hearing the bad news and we hear a lot of it. Some weeks are worse than others. And, you hear a lot of things that can be discouraging and they can make your perspective really jaded. And that goes for anywhere, not just Albuquerque, but there is sort of a defeatist attitude sometimes towards those things here. And I don't think that that's the general attitude. I just think that that's what we hear about the most. They say like, what is it? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. And so that goes the same for news,
Yeah.
The stuff that's terrible is going to get the most airtime because it gets the most airtime.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't change things. And that doesn't mean that we can't focus on positive things and make our community a positive place either. So
yeah, no, at the same time too, like, yes, I agree. Be proud of your community and like highlight the good things about your community because it's not highlighted enough. But at the same time, I don't think you can ignore like those issues.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. And I don't mean like ignore it. I just mean Yeah, I think that the change starts with how you infuse your community with positivity.
I agree.
That's what you can do, I guess,
I agree.
And find a cause and encourage other people like to do better. I think sometimes other people need to hear their potential because they don't necessarily always know.
It's true. And our local business owners too need to know that encouragement, I think, because it could be hard, I think. I've never owned a business, but I've listened to your podcast a little bit. And
now it's your podcast.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think, local businesses in Albuquerque do really well. I think because we have this different attitude about local. I think that's the one thing that New Mexico in general is really strong about is that they care a lot about local. I've seen that more so here than a lot of other places. We do not, we have some chains and stuff. Yeah. But like, we really do support like our mom and pop businesses, like, because New Mexico is like a small, big town or a big, small town, I guess. So I feel like when you do that, it's like somebody knows somebody who owns that business. Yeah. It's not that far away from you. There's not like all these degrees of separation. It's like somebody's cousin's uncle's nephew. It's connected in some way. And so there's a strength in that. There's a definite strength in knowing that like you're supporting someone directly who's living in your community, doing business in your community. You kind of, I don't know, it makes it stronger, I think.
I agree.
So is there anything else you want to say, plug, talk about, shout out, etc. before we wrap this up?
I don't know. What are my favorite places?
What are they?
You know me.
I do.
I'm quizzing you.
Oh, geez.
No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't sign up for this. I quit.
I don't know. I'm just going to say breakfast burritos. Can I rank them real quick?
Go for it. Okay, hold on. Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Can I just say something real fast? I used to try to get Lorenzo to write a blog called Burritos and Bathrooms. I'm going to talk about it. All
right, go ahead.
Because Lorenzo likes to check out bathrooms in businesses.
I use bathrooms.
Right. And he'll be like, oh, that was a terrible bathroom. We're like, oh, that was a really nice bathroom. And we have this theory that like the quality of the bathroom directly correlates to the quality of the burrito. Yeah. So, okay. I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah. If your bathroom is not stocked with paper towels, chances are you don't care about your food in your kitchen.
Or your burritos.
I don't know. That might not be true.
Maybe not.
But anyways, yeah.
So you're going to rank
I do appreciate a good bathroom, but I also appreciate a good burrito. And breakfast burritos are some of my favorite food. And I'm going to say the undisputed breakfast burrito champion is 1000% Golden Pride. Did you think it was something else?
I thought you were going to say Blake's.
No.
Where do they fall on the scale, just out of curiosity?
They're good. They're decent. They are, if you're very hungry, Blake's will take care of you. But where Blake's falls behind for me is the tortilla. For me, a good breakfast burrito, and there might be some really mad people right now, I bet you. Like New Mexicans and
I want to hear your hate comments on this.
New Mexicans are very passionate about their breakfast burritos.
Let her rip.
I let my brother know that my favorite is Golden Pride, and he's just like, well, I don't know about that. Like
you guys can't see this, but Lorenzo made a face, and it looks like his brother's face when he's upset. Yeah. It was just a really good.
Yeah, my brother got it was like a family feud for a second. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I do believe. Okay, here's my idea. Breakfast burritos. If the tortilla is top notch, you can kind of have the what's stuffed inside of it,
like basic,
is not as important. You know what I mean?
The tortilla is taking care of it.
I think the tortilla is everything for me.
So so Golden Pride's number one. We're going to go top three. Who's number two then?
I don't know if I have. I guess let me think about this for a second. Blake's is up there, I guess, because it's available. There's Blake's everywhere, all over the city. And like I said, if you're very hungry, like get a Blake's breakfast burrito.
It's consistent, I think, is the thing. It's a consistent, like you know what you're going to get. It's consistent.
And not a local company, but Taco Cabana.
Actually, I was going to say that. I had their breakfast tacos the other day, and I was like, this actually like really hit the spot. Yeah. Like a lot.
And again, they make their tortillas, I think, like in the restaurant. And I think that's why I love them. My brother told me to try the Burrito Lady. So I've never been to the Burrito Lady.
Where is that?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
But he said, go to the Burrito Lady. So maybe I'll try the Burrito Lady next. Somebody else said Stars and Stripes.
Haven't been there either.
I picked up some breakfast burritos from Stars and Stripes, and the insides of it, the bacon, the potatoes, the eggs, cheese, all of that was delicious. Again, the tortilla, like if I could marry the inside of the breakfast burrito from Stars and Stripes with the tortilla of Golden Pride, it'd be perfect. It's not quite like Marion sauces, but it's close enough. But any breakfast burrito in New Mexico, I'm sorry, is better than a breakfast burrito in some other place in the country. Like
oh my gosh. One time we stopped in Phoenix and we were just like, what is this atrocity?
I had to spend a summer in Washington, the state, Washington. And I got a breakfast burrito, and it was, I don't know why I did that. I should have got a biscuit or something.
I should have got a biscuit. That's a little more Pacific Northwestern for you. I don't think that they're really up on their tortilla skills up in Washington.
It was not good. And there were like bell peppers in it and mushrooms. I'm like, why are you putting mushrooms in the breakfast burrito?
It's like a Denver omelet burrito.
And like to top it all off, they didn't even ask me. They just gave me ketchup. And I'm like, ew. What is this?
You like threw it on the counter and you were like, no.
I walked out. No, I ate it still because I was hungry, but.
All right. So we got Golden Pride, Blake's, and then Taco Cabana for the third place winner for tortilla quality. Yeah. And this might be a future updated ranking because I have to try the Burrito Lady. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Okay. No, I think that's a fair assessment. I would mostly agree with you. So. All right. Well, it is that time. It is the end of our first episode together. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future holds. Yeah. I'm excited to see where we're headed. I'm excited to share Albuquerque with you and all the listeners. So stay tuned, everybody. It's coming. It is. It is, indeed. We're going to explore the city. Yep, that's the plan. So with that, we will let you go. Thank you, Albuquerque, for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye. Every day, you count on your heating and cooling system to be ready to handle the extreme temperatures. Call FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical right away if your heating or cooling system is malfunctioning. FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical has been fixing and installing HVAC systems throughout the Albuquerque metro and surrounding areas for years. They've been the leading provider of comprehensive care and top-class HVAC service and installation since the early 2000s. When you choose FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical, you'll get contractors with a history of excellence. Call today, mention What's Up ABQ, and receive 10% off for the month of May on repairs and installation. Call FRA Muniz Plumbing and Mechanical at 505-203-6415 or visit their website, framechanical.com.
Thanks for listening to the What's Up ABQ podcast with Lindsay and Lorenzo. Every episode, we'll introduce you to places around the Duke City that we think you'll want to try out and tell your friends about. If you have an idea for a place that Lindsay and Lorenzo should feature, drop them a line on Instagram at ABQ What's Up. Whether it's a restaurant, a place to get suds, an upcoming event, or just a nifty little place that you came across, we want to hear about it. And if you have a business and want to get some extra attention in the podcast, get in touch with us about sponsorships. Leave us a review or comment on your favorite podcast platform. The podcast is edited and mastered by Paul Nixon at paulnixonvo.com. Until next time, thanks for listening and subscribing to What's Up ABQ.